done, and that would continue this bike path from, say, here all the way through Wolf Lake and up to Burnham. And we're working with the state of Indiana to create connections from the east-west corridors, going down 134th to the trailer park, and also 112th by Eggers Grove. And they've got a fabulous bike system, or bike trail system, in Hammond. We're trying to link the two so we can all enjoy it. And just one last thing as part of the plan, the ideas have always been to make the slip accessible too. So a walking path or a bike path would theoretically come around the slip and come back around up north, so that the whole kind of outer arena, outer rim there would be available for public access.
I have a question. With all the parks that are being built now, like with the development coming up, is it going to be a staff park eventually, or is it just what it is? Is that the vision for it later? Like, is it going to be a field house and a staff later on in the future when the development comes, or it's just?
Yeah, I can't address that right now, but you know, we have one at Rainbow, we have a facility at Calumet. If it needs for it with the development that's happening there, you know, I don't want to say no, because I don't know right now, but
It's still up in the area.
Yeah.
could be a possibility. I mean, if whatever development happens in the future.
Let's talk about the 20 years from now.
Yes, sir.
I was wondering if we could obtain some of those, like bottle card, they just transfer the over, from one place to another, or mold and stuff like that. If it could be put on this park, for people to view how they, sometimes they transport iron ore, from one mill to another. We could require that.
Like our trolleys?
No, there is it's a, they call bottle card, it's long, it's a piece, it's nice to look at it. And they got ingot molds, that they pour the bottle in there,
Right,
and they form the ingot,
right.
something like that, and if it's possible.
What they call it, ladle?
So that's something that's why U.S. Steel,
Ladle card.
we want to incorporate them into this.
Anything like this, added US Steel, reform steel as they transfer the metal from the blast furnace to the
rolling mill.
no, to the Cuba furnace, and they put them in there and melt it together with iron and all the other colors to make the quality steel they want. They come out with with their melts, and then they mix it with scrap and stuff like that for the quality they want to obtain after they put all the ingredients in there. And they had to put them in. Transport it's hot, very hot. It's inside with later in line with bricks and stuff like that. And then they use tilt. So and Toledos, and then they take it or whatever. I mean,
So these are big.
well, they're pretty good.
Yeah,
They're like a railroad car, they're long.
Like
Oh.
6-7 feet.
I thought you were talking about something this big.
No.
This had to be put on a rail.
Oh.
They're probably from here to the end of the forest.
That was a hope for over at the Interlake site, and they tried to end up having, there was a period of time where they were trying to raise money to end up having that kind of site.
We're part of
It's
that.
not, it's not really appropriate, I don't think, that's a whole different concept. The idea was an industrial museum, like there is, I think there's one like it in Germany, and very different and across purposes with this kind of park. Which I don't think of as passive, because I see people running, and we go walking, and we go bike riding, and can't wait till Sunday, because it's going to be 60, and we can be bike riding again. That's not a passive park.
If you use this sculpture as a beginning, as you move forward, it could become a sculpture park oriented towards art, or would it become a historical commemoration of the site?
I think it would be a little bit of both. I think we would do a little bit of contemporary, a little bit of history. I think in the future we'll be able to combine all of them. Have a little bit of good representation.
Historically, with art.
I mean, the historical stuff, there are some large artifacts still around that could commemorate what went on the site.
And the Park District does have a sculptural program, and we're just getting things started with that. So, maybe this area could be part of that program.
That's something that, as an artist, I'm concerned
concerned about is obviously when the formation of Millennium Park had taken place, they actually had this special opportunity for people in different communities to go in behind the museum, film museum. And there's where individuals that would be able to come take, a tile and a card and make something, with that tile. It was fired, it was given color, and then that would go into this people-oriented display, and it never really materialized. But a lot of the art came from world-class artists, and it really says so much that the powers that be, as well as the park districts and various organizations, and recognize what talent is within the area, and give them a fair opportunity to represent their own communities, in addition to having some of those world-class artists like Richard Hunt to come in and present their works, so that there is a sense of ownership.
And we do have a new sculptural liaison now. I don't know, do you guys remember her name? She was just hired through our the CAN program. She's just hired this week. I can't remember her name, but I can give you my information. I can just give you her information.
Yeah, that'd be great. Because we actually have various fabricators which can help the formation of some of those proposals. So, there's resources here as well.
Great. Thank you, Bob. Some great information. Obviously, a lot of focus on the sculpture and the timeliness. That's why we're pushing to get this done. Last October, when the park opened, we caught it at the end of the season. This year, we'd like to have it dedicated before we get to the end of the season again. So that's why we're trying to get some input and approval so we can start this, what I believe will be the main attraction to the site. So with that, let's see here. We're talking about September 6th. And again, we want to have it multifaceted, not just the ribbon cutting and the artists, but maybe having some displays, as we talked about with the Historical Society, maybe bringing in other groups. We did the Lakeside Fest last year in its infant stages and had some community organizations display art and some other non-for-profits. And we're hoping to do something similar this year. So I'm going to ask Dan Lira maybe to talk to that a little bit.
Well, last year we had the Chicago Lakeside Festival, and what we did with that is it was another ribbon cutting. We were opening up the new Lakeshore Drive, and we had a ribbon cutting ceremony on 79th Street, and that opened up when we came up. We followed it with a 5K run and a bike run. And then we opened up Chicago Lakeside Festival on the park that we're talking about now. And we involved the local food vendors, local other vendors, our artists from the area. We had musical fest out there as well, had a couple of kids games. Again, but it was October 26th and the weather was cold, so we didn't have a lot of people. But again, yeah. So this year we're going to be able to do it September 6th, hopefully warmer weather. It's Labor Day weekend, around Labor Day weekend. And again, the idea is to make it a little bit bigger, a little bit better around after the ceremony for the park, the name of the park. And ironically, the theme for this year's festival is from Steel to Green. So it kind of works in hand with the park, renaming of the park. And we're going to have, again, just more food vendors, more area local vendors, also with a concert concept behind it as well this time. So a little bit bigger, inviting not only our communities that surround this area, but also the rest of the city to come out and check out our area.
So
It's a 2-day event, 6th and 7th.
So the, I guess, park dedication could be the opening ceremonies for the event, if you want to call it that. That'd be a great way to draw more people to both the opening of the park and the festival.
Yeah.
All right, great, thanks, Dan. And I'm sorry, there 2 individuals walked in a little late. Wouldn't mind introducing yourselves? Your name and organization? Or?
I'm just the crazy neighbor who lives over there. His name is Matthew Minger.
Local resident.
Yeah.
Ma'am?
Okay, my name is Frances Plaxico, and I am a member from the neighborhood that's staying right across the street as well.
Great, thank you.
And this is my first time here at this meeting. I've always wanted to participate and come and listen. So this is my first opportunity.
Well, that's great. And I know Lakeside just did an open house last Thursday.
Yeah.
So they do quarterly open houses, much more in depth about the entire development. Tonight's meeting was really to focus on the park, but obviously we talk about bigger issues. And with that in mind, I want to do some advertising on the back side of the sheet, the agenda. Try to be conscious about our use of paper. So the office talked about upcoming events next Saturday, the 5th of April. Can't you believe it's April almost and it's snowing? We're doing a block club meeting, and we had talked about this last year. Obviously the winter's been very severe, but we all are realistic. We know when the weather breaks, when school gets out for the summer, the criminal activity increases. We're trying to prep the community now, take proactive measures to form block clubs. I've been at a lot of meetings the last couple of weeks, and people always say they want more police. Darn right, I want more police. We want this and that, but in reality, there's limitations. If we can have block clubs, the olden days, when you could keep your door open, when everyone knew who the kids were, you know, if my neighbors saw me messing up, and they were adults, they'd have no problem grabbing me by the ear and smacking me or telling my mom and dad, so everyone looked out for each other. We're trying to get back to that state, not in terms of neighbors swatting each other's kids, but being more familiar with each other, you know, being the best eyes and ears. A lot of groups I've talked to recently, they've had 3 or 4 people here. I said, you're the foundation of a block club. If all of you work together, you're the eyes and ears of this community. A police officer cannot always be on the street, but if you have neighbors who are just a little more conscious around their surroundings, that makes for a much better, solid block. So we're doing some training next Saturday, and it's in coordination with Clarice & Associates, our office in the 4th District. It's next Saturday at the Eastside Bodak Library. This is for interested parties, whether you have an existing block club or not. If you want to form one, great, or if you just want to go there for your own education, we'd like to encourage you to come out. And we will have at that point jumping jack applications. You know, the bouncy houses, those come out and we'll have them available. You'd be surprised. Those are in hot demand always, and it's first come, first serve. So if people are interested in getting their name on the list, to have that free asset, they can come to the meeting as well. But again, the main purpose is to really get people oriented towards trying to improve their neighborhood a little bit. So, any other questions regarding the park and the concepts? Are we on the right track here? Anything glaringly wrong? And I guess I want to get your feedback, and I thank Karen for volunteering to lead the local advisory council. Appreciate that, Karen.
I'm not going to lead anything unless I have people who want to do it too.
I hear you.
Partially it's after the meeting.
Well, I guess the main thing is we want to get some sign-off or consent or general agreement that the sculpture looks good, or is we're headed down the right track, because that's something we've got to get to ordering and getting Roman and his crews to get going on that, because that's going to take several months. And if we plan to do it at the opening in September before the weather gets too bad, it's crucial. So I'm glad to see. I didn't think we'd have much pushback, because this, in my eyes, makes perfect sense. I don't think of anything else that would be more applicable here. So with that, if there's no other questions, we have everyone signed in. We'd like to keep in communication. We'll follow up on some of these other issues and items. And if you'd like, we can have another meeting in the future. But definitely some of the people who spoke today, they were part of the advisory or core group. We'd like to continue to get your input, both ideas and suggestions, complaints as well. So feel free to call or contact our office. If nothing else, anyone have anything else to say? Great. Very good meeting. Thank you, everyone.